Week 6 was a disappointing week for me. Normally I seem energetic. Normally I'm just disappointed. The Cowboys beat the Patriots. That's one. That was disappointing. Let's just get into it. Me and Tyler. I sat Antonio Brown. That was a mistake. With Antonio Brown in, I lose barely. Bye weeks, Myles Gaskin being not a human. The only reason why this game was semi-close was CeeDee Lamb had a balled out. Tyler didn't even play well. Austin, he got 105, but Austin Eckler didn't have himself a game. Tyler Lockett didn't have anything. Darren Waller wasn't Darren Waller. This is just it's really disappointing because there's a clear 4 best teams in our league, and then after that, you could tell me the 10th best team is the 5th best team, and it wouldn't matter. So I need people injured. I need people healthy. I need people not being on buys. I need a lot. Tyler needs something. He needs a little more consistency because Tyler Lockett right now is doing what he does best, and without Russell Wilson, he needs an upgrade at his flex. That's where he's at. Marquise Brown, I think, is going to be fine. Eckler, fine. Diggs, fine. Waller, fine. I just think he needs an upgrade at his flex, especially with the teams above him. Next game, Jared. It's a problem. This is without Christian McCaffrey. This is with Chuba Hubbard, who is going to get you 80% of what Christian McCaffrey can do, but he doesn't give you an extra 20, and he doesn't give you an extra 15% of the upside. Actually, 20% of the upside. He didn't have Calvin Ridley this week. He picked up T.Y. Hilton, which could be interesting because of how Carson Wentz throws. It's legitimately going to be... It may be Jared's world again at some point. I also have a cold. Allergies. Danny, would you call it a cold or allergies?
Allergies.
It's allergies. Thanks.
Haven't you taken your Claritin?
Yeah, I have.
Have you?
I take it every morning.
Well, then maybe it's a cold.
I've taken it every morning when I take my meds.
Maybe it is a cold. I don't know.
I don't know. Something's messed up. He got Joe. Joe is the team that could have been. I hope Joe looks at this season and realizes that his no trading method actually sometimes works for him because the only thing he was missing was a quarterback. Only thing. And his whole team got traded. He had playoff Lenny. He had Jonathan Taylor. He has James Robinson. He had Nick Chubb. All 4 on the roster, I believe, at the same time. You keep 3 of those 4. You keep 3 of those 4. You keep James Robinson. You keep Leonard Fournette. And you keep Jonathan Taylor. You trade Nick Chubb. Or you trade Jonathan Taylor. But probably Nick Chubb you would have had to move because that's what people like. And you go get yourself... You go... He just had the opportunity to be the best team. Do you want to say hi? He keeps Lamar. He keeps the team that he had. He could be in the best team conversation right now, but to moves that have been made, it's not. He has not. Pause. Oh, Jesus Christ. There you go. No problem. Just trying my best. So, Mike Williams is doing his Mike Williams thing where he balls for 4 or 5 straight games, and then he'll give you a dud, and then he'll play well, and then he'll give you a dud. He does this every year. So inconsistent. Cordero Patterson looks like the real deal, but Cordero, I don't really know how or care how people like to say it. But on to the next one. Shock of the week. I know Camden had some buys. Alvin Kamara was on a buy. He ended up sitting Adam Thielen instead of Terry McLaurin or Mike Evans, which makes sense because he was playing a good Carolina team. Terry McLaurin was playing a poop Kansas City secondary, and Mike Williams was playing a Philadelphia Eagles team, and you figured that they would get thrown all over. And even DJ Moore was playing Minnesota, and they haven't been great this year defensively. But yeah, Camden got his doors blown off. Everybody except for Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford taken out, and Travis Kelce had a solid game, but even 9.9 points for Travis Kelce isn't that great. And then Justin just solidified himself as the best team in the league. Because Justin's receivers don't need to play well when you have the best running back in the league. I hope everyone knows that. He's been that, and he'll continue to be that in Derrick Henry. This is why I wanted to take him. If I had the number one pick, that's who I would have taken. Because regardless of what Christian McCaffrey can do receiving, regardless of what Alvin Kamara can do receiving, regardless of the dual threats they are, this man touches the ball 25 to 30 times a game, and this man runs crazy. Best running back in the league, and I don't think it's really close. Jonathan Taylor's getting back to being Jonathan Taylor, and he's doing it on less touches, which is scary because at some point when he does get more touches, that's scary. That's scary. He hasn't been getting many touches whatsoever, so you can only imagine when he does. I mean, 17, 15, 10, 16, 15, 14 rushes, and he's still producing at a high level, especially these last 3 weeks. And then Joe Mixon's just doing what Joe Mixon does every year, being one of the more consistent backs in the league. Just he may have a couple games here and there where it's not, but the Bengals, especially with Joe Burrow, they understand a balanced attack, and they use him. They utilize him always. Jamar Chase is Rookie of the Year right now for me. I don't care. Like, obviously, quarterback-wise, normally it's a quarterback. It'd be either Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence. But for me, he's Rookie of the Year right now. He has been playing great. Offensive Rookie of the Year, that is. Unless I'm forgetting someone, which is a very huge... maybe Najee. But there are people I'm forgetting, but he's been up there. He's having kind of a Justin Jefferson last year. Speaking of who he has, Justin Jefferson is going to continue to play. His team's just the best. Justin's team's just the best. Timmy beating Austin. Check. I probably wouldn't. Maybe at a rave. Maybe at a rave I wouldn't do it any other way. But Timmy, DeAndre Swift's inconsistent. Kareem Hunt's going to be out for a while. Cooper Kupp is solid. Cooper Kupp, obviously, it's not more than solid, so Cooper Kupp's very, very good. The thing with him is he's probably going to fall off towards the end of the season a little bit just because teams are going to key in on him more. But with Matt Stafford instead of Jared Goff, he's going to have, obviously, numbers. He's going to produce. And you got Dak, obviously. His calf injury could be something. I don't really think it will be for any more than like a week or two. But he has Kyle Pitts. Will be getting back Devontae Adams here. So he's a team now that's going to have pieces, and really it's going to be a week to week choose, week to week, like flex kind of. Can he make the right decisions on a week to week? And that's going to be his season. Austin had bad luck. Put up a $114 and lost. Those are the weeks that you need to win. Obviously, it doesn't come down to him. It comes down to the other team. But it's just, he has pieces. It's just hasn't been playing the right combination. And then sometimes it's the other team just does better. Like this week, Metcalf, like who would have really benched DK Metcalf and put in Damian Harris or put in Cortland Sutton? Like, you don't instantly do that. But then again, without Russell Wilson, you possibly could do that. But sitting someone like DK just is like, But his team's really off of bad luck, because you always have that bad luck team. And then this week, Ira with the dub. Making food.
No, I was checking on the net.
Is it working?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Hey, that's good. Guys, I apologize for my squirrel mentality right now that I'm just... But, you know, Danny's talking, I'm listening. It's whatever, you know, it happens. You want to come say hi again?
No.
Well, whatever. Just say
I
hi.
look like shit.
You don't at all. Just say hi at least.
Hi.
Thank you. So, Joey's team laid an egg. And even so, he still put up 97, but his team laid an egg. He really only had Leonard Fournette, who played well. And that's the thing. And that's a kind of shock. Like, you had everyone play average. Like, Lamar didn't play well. Zeke played average. Devontae played average for him. Dawson Knox was average. Bucs defense was average. Robert Woods was solid. Devin Singletary did what Devin Singletary does, so they don't really run that crazy. So, this is... Joey's been a team also of misfortune this year. He's scored a lot of points this year. He has just been in a place where he just hasn't been able to get W's. Like, points for right now, he's number 2 behind Justin. So, like, he has a legitimate chance to actually get the points for, but have the worst record. He has the worst record, but I also could have the points for. Because points against, he's had the most points against him, and then me second. So, that is that's fantasy, and that's what it does. So, that's the week breakdown. I'm so disappointed. I'm so sad. Clogged up. Physically, emotionally drained. I'm just sad. Danny's giving me this look of weird, but just physically and emotionally just sad. This season, it you know, sometimes it's just hard to take in. This may be the first year that I don't make the playoffs. But this week is going to be the most important week of our season. Obviously, until the playoffs, in my personal opinion. Justin, unless his team dies, is making the playoffs this year. Camden, unless his team dies, is making the playoffs this year. Jared, to me, unless his team dies, is making the playoffs this year. So those are the 3 people who are making the playoffs for sure. Tyler's a boom or bust team, as he knew he going into the draft. And his team booms, he's great when his team busts. He's the one person that may not make the playoffs. So we're really fighting for that 4, because the other 3, unless something crazy happens, are making the playoffs. We've got a 6-0, 5-1, 2 4-2s, and then we've got 5 teams at 2-4. Whoever's the best out of that 2-4 team is going to be competing with Tyler's. I needed to beat Tyler this week. I didn't. That's why I'm so sad. But I play Austin this week. Loser of that game's not going to the playoffs. Loser of that game's just not going to the playoffs. That's just kind of how it's got to be and how it's going to be. We've got Joey. Joey is playing Jared. Joey loses, he's not in the playoffs. Ira loses to Tyler, he's not in the playoffs. Because I put Tyler at 5-2. He needs to beat Tyler this week. We all need him to beat Tyler, so we need to push for that. Because Jared could lose to Joey's team, and Jared could be the odd one out randomly, but I don't think it will be. Tyler's team, in my opinion, is going to be the 4th team. So, Ira needs to beat Tyler. Timmy, you lose this week. Unless catastrophic things happen with the 4, you're done. Every 2-4 team, if they lose this week, they're pretty much done unless every one of them loses, which in that case would put Austin or me up, because those are the only ones that could possibly do something. So, me and Austin is a big game this week. I think as I said, the loser of that's going. But Yeah, so this is going to be, week 7 is going to be a huge week. Bye weeks are now a thing. Sleepers are now a thing. So it's going to be like who is who and what's what. Power rankings. 10. 10. I don't, you know what, I'm just going to put myself at 10. That may not be true. I could probably make an argument that I'm better than Timmy. I could probably make an argument that I may be better than Ira. Like, I could make arguments, but no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to at all. I'm going to let myself be the worst team because that's how I'm feeling on the inside right now. 9. Nine. I'm gonna go Timmy. Sorry, not Timmy. I'm gonna go Ira. Ira, even though he won, he beat Joey, who has the worst record in our league this year. So, you know what? Never mind. Scratch all that. 10 is me. I'm keeping myself at 10. I don't like me. Me sucks. Me is garbage. Me sucks. I'm 10. And I could be 10. I may be 10 to make the playoffs because I'm just so mad at myself. I don't know. It's been since J.K. Dobbins got injured, and then I tried to fix it, and I kind of did, but then we got injuries, and I'm 10. Joey, you're 9. Joey, even though I think your roster is better than a lot of these people, you were 1-5. I cannot keep trying to put you higher. I tried to base it off. If you would have won this week, you would be higher. You'd probably be a 5, honestly. But you lost, so I can't do that. 9. Joey. 8. I'm going Ira. I'm going off of this because he did win, but in 7, I do have Timmy. And Timmy is going to be upset that I have Joe at 6 over him, but I just think there's so many inconsistencies with Timmy's team. He has won the last 2 weeks, so I will give him credit for that. He's on a 2-game winning streak. He wins this week, he can move up for sure. So I'm going me 10, Joey 9, Ira 8, Timmy 7, Joe 6. I think Joe has the makings now. I think he has the makings of being a solid team. And then I have Austin at 5. But I honestly think 5 through 10 doesn't matter. It's going to be one of those teams and Tyler fighting for the 4th spot. So you can rank them however you want. That's that. That's really tier. There's 3 tiers. There's 3 tiers this week. And it's 5 through 10 to 1 tier. They all have promising things. They all have flaws. We're all in the same boat. All haven't been good, but we all possibly could be something cool. That's 5 through 10. That's 1. That's just the bottom tier. That's the what could be or what should be isn't. That's what if we have to name it, what could be, what should be isn't, is that tier. And then the next tier is Tyler and Jared. Jared can move up to that next tier. Tyler and Jared, I mean, if I was going to name that tier, it would probably be needs to boom. Like, Jared right now, I guess Jared right now is in the sense that he needs to boom, especially with his players out, and Tyler needs to boom to be really successful. So, like, they're both in the need to boom category. Camden would be the number 1 contender, and he's on his own tier, and Justin's is in a tier by himself right now. Justin is showing to be the best team in the league. He's made the perfect trade. Justin, I'm going to try to trade with you. Everyone's going to try to trade with you. Please don't make another trade this season. Like, there's nothing you need to do. If you have a bye week, you can put Latavius Murray or Jamal Williams in for a week and be okay. You need a wide receiver. AJ Green can go in for a week. You need a quarterback. Joe Burrow can go in. You have the Cardinals defense and the Bengals defense. Just don't trade with anybody. Don't. You don't need to do anything. Just ride this team out. Please don't think you need to update grade. The only thing would be possible would be your tight end, but your running backs are so good that you don't even need it. So please just don't trade with anybody. People who try to trade with them, just don't. Just don't. If this team loses, you didn't do anything wrong yourself. Just don't trade. That's week 7. That's my enthusiasm. It's my excitement. I'm sad. I may be even more sad next week off a loss for the realization of my team's not making the playoffs for the first time. And my goal is just not to be last, because I can't go first or worst. That can't happen, but I'm a champion. See you next week.